Just to let everybody know we're live, so
Okay.
don't worry, you can still talk. We're gonna cut all this stuff out, so we'll fix it in the mix, as they say.
So she retired from county. But she didn't, she continued to work.
We have that test coming up on the fourth side. How many people are gonna? I got that in my
Do
check.
you have any questions?
I haven't tried it, but I think what I might do is just,
Say on the fourth?
I might just put $1 in, take my credit
Yeah,
card, just a one.
You know, if you want to.
Oh, you know what I gotta do?
Run it through and I'll just,
I'll tell you what, I gotta buy
I'll
clothes
push it back the other
anyway.
way.
I gotta buy clothes
There you
anyway.
go.
Why don't I just
Yeah.
put my order together?
Yeah, and then I'll just,
Okay,
oh yeah, because you're gonna get the stuff.
and I'll let you know though what the.
Yeah,
Okay.
that works, yeah.
Okay, cool. And that way we can try and test it, because that order is gonna be a bunch of street.
Yep. That'll work.
I'm really.
Trust me, I'm not running for your president.
Just said, what you said.
Yeah, no, I know, I'm just saying. How are you, sir?
That was Vice President who was on like.
And you?
Darks and.
Dude, so I got like a iron on casual here for like NCO.
What you'll do is find a policy.
We'll see what the White House is like.
I'm sorry.
She works in
And my wife used to say after a while, I just want to take a note
I'll look into it. I'll look into it because, you know, because I had the first layer, the first. I wanted to make
Those things
we're doing I usually show them early if there's any issues to take care of. And he was married for the shop.
I will get that together.
Usually it's all first time.
So one of these days, I want
So
to.
he shows up.
I have some other friends of mine, Nancy Vogel, was over here, one of her, down for years. They need
I didn't know what to say. I just went back.
There you go. I have to change my phone out of my parents' bag. There you go. All right. 4 minutes and we're going to start. I'm going to use the restroom.
Former deputy in Geauga County. He invited me over to his. He was home. He was there.
Sorry, we missed you on the other
Person's home.
Yeah.
Oh, she used to work in.
I just saw the like fire.
She left. I had a bunch of dad. And when I found out she was bad, I called her.
I hit her with.
It's not.
Did that guy ever come with money and show up and buy that?
Showed up, she had been the spirit.
But no, things like lightning, if lightning gets behind the complex,
As far as I know,
like a row house.
So. Something really weird.
Actually, what?
Yeah.
More of
I'm not filling in the front this week.
No, you're not this time?
Most famous person.
What's that?
Was it kind of light last month?
There are not many people here. Last month we actually had more than there are here today. But
For some reason, the list looked short or something.
yeah,
Maybe it wasn't all there.
maybe. Yeah. Well, you know, actually, maybe it was. Maybe you're right. Maybe we had a few less people. Well, who did the special? Oh, the time guy. The time guy. Yeah. He's not here today.
Started out, it seemed very dry, but got
Yeah, then it got
super
really good.
interesting.
Yeah, it was good. He did a good job. He did really
Yeah,
good.
I watched that on the on YouTube. Yeah.
Fall asleep.
We're gonna start in a few minutes.
She said something.
Dave, how are you, sir? MTAD. Good. Yeah, we do. Why don't you bring that up? We got the Q&A today. Bring that up. That way we have it on the thing. Okay, cool. Okay.
Oh, I forgot to wear my t-shirt.
All right. Is Russ still selling tickets? All right. Welcome to the, you got the date right, November 18th, 2021, SARA meeting. For those of you online, SARA stands for Silvercreek Amateur Radio Association. And we're glad to have you here. So what we're going to do is give you the agenda. Basically, it's what we normally do. Routine business. We're going to do a round of introductions. Then we're going to do the approval of previous minutes and upcoming announcements. And then we're going to go into reports, treasurers, executive, technical, operating, education, social. And then at the end, we had a last minute walkout of the person that was going to be doing the speaker portion. So we're going to do a quick Q&A. If anybody has any questions you've ever wanted to ask, I won't have the answers, but I will be able to find them at some point, and they will be out on the internet in all of eternity. So when your kids or grandkids or great grandkids are old enough to watch the videos, they'll say, "Why did great grandpa ask that question?" I'm just kidding. All right, everybody, it's great to be here today. But before we get into that, let's take a round of introductions. So why don't we start with Ken, sir?
Ken Dorsey, K8OAD. Ron Stoller, KV8LNK.
Yeah, you can just keep it on that side till we get over here. Yeah.
Doug Hunter, Kilo Echo 8, Juliet November.
Bill, KN8WDK.
Eric, WADLM.
Marty, NXPK.
Rick, WADTW.
Go ahead, you can start in the back. Yeah.
Oh, I'm Mike, Kilo Echo 8, Quebec Whiskey. Echo.
Oh, sorry, I skipped Fred, 88 QFT.
How
Fred
about,
from Medina.
how about the guys in the back, and then we'll come up to Nick.
Russ, KD8BYT.
Mike, Kilo Delta 8, Tango, Quebec uniform.
And I'm Scott, Philip Delta 8, Romeo Whiskey actually. And I'm Matt. Just a visitor.
Hi, Matt.
KD8SLG, Nick.
Brian, KF8G.
Dave, November Tango, 8 Delta.
Stefan, November 8 Whiskey Bravo. So any of you on the internet that think that somebody lost or dropped a giant can of Campbell's letter soup, alphabet soup, these are what are called call signs. So we can share information with you. And speaking of that, we're going to go right to our treasurer's report. Not that was a call sign thing. I'm just segueing as quick as I can. So
Do you have the actual?
I don't have that actual. Did you bring it?
Because I did not, because I thought you were going to have it on there, sorry.
I don't have it. I had it, but I don't have it. So let me see if I can pull it up very quickly. You want to just read it off?
It is on the share site.
Yeah, I know, but I think you also sent it as the.
Yeah, I sent it as an email as well. Sorry about that.
That's okay. That's my fault. I'm just filling in.
I usually bring it every other time.
Well, that was the. Is that it? The treasurer's report?
Is this for
this
month?
That's the one that he sent me, I believe. You want to double check?
Yeah, let's take a look. Make sure it's this. Make sure it's the.
No, that's October.
I was going to say that looks like
Yeah.
last month.
Well, isn't that great, man? You said it's on the website.
Well, it's in an email too. I sent that one out in email.
Did you send it out to me?
Jeff, I have a copy of it here on my phone.
Do you? Okay.
Oh, Jeff Royer, here it is. I'll bet you
Yeah?
this is it. Yep,
Okay, wait.
I got it. I got it. We won't have it up on the screen, but he'll read it, and if anybody wants to see it, is that it?
Yes, that looks
Okay,
it.
go ahead.
Okay, statement beginning balance, 5140.87. We did have a expenditure of $200 for an insurance premium payment, because we do have club insurance now. We did have an expenditure for Sarah picnic food and miscellaneous items, $387.54. We also had Sarah dues web of $28.61 come in, and $40 from the 50/50 raffle. The ending balance is $4621.94, with $3,000 allocated for the repeater replacement and maintenance, and general fund $1621.94.
Cool. Thank you,
All right.
sir. Anyone have any questions about the treasurer's report?
The $200, is that an annual fee?
That is an annual fee, yes.
That's the insurance one? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Anyone want a motion to accept it?
So move.
Okay, second?
Second.
Dave seconded. All in favor? All opposed? Okay, excellent. One other thing, which I got on the line, I apologize. It's new for me to do this, although I am president of another club, or was. And it's just a different order. Approval of previous minutes. Did everybody see the minutes online or read them at all? Eric, were they passed around at all? Did we have any?
They were not passed around.
Okay.
They were on Sarah Announced.
Were they on Sarah Announced? Okay, enough people saw them? Okay, do I hear a motion to approve
I
the,
have a correction.
oh, go ahead.
Bill pointed out that Tom Sly will be here 2 months ago. According to the minutes, it says he'll be here on September 16.
Okay,
So that'll have to be corrected.
okay.
Yes, time travel.
I thought maybe the time travel guy from the last
Very well be
Work something out.
very-
I motion to approve as amended.
Okay, yeah.
So with that correction,
Okay, a motion to accept the
I'll make the motion.
motion, second?
Second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, he accepts it and he's opposed. No, I'm just kidding, I'm just kidding. Well, you know. Anyways, I apologize one more time. Apparently, he had your treasurer's report in here.
The third slide, I
Yes.
just found out, yes.
So I'm gonna go through the order because I'm a nitwit. So anyways, the Christmas party, everybody know about the Christmas party. It is one of the best Christmas parties that you'll ever go to. And I mean that. And it's December 9th, starts at 6 p.m. Dinner services at 7 at Bo's Grill, just like we have been right there on Route 18. And a great restaurant. I just ate at the Bo's Grill last Friday in Cuyahoga Falls. Totally different layout, but great food in either one of them. But we've been here before, at least 2 times before.
I understand it's gonna be in a bigger room.
Yes, we are, depending on, if you go onto the website, or you might have already gotten an email to sign up and do an RSVP. Depending on what our numbers are, they have a room that fits 60 and a room that fits 100. And depending on where we fall in those reservations, they'll give us that particular room. So if we go over 60, we get the 100 plus room. And I think that has better wine or something in it. It's not, just kidding. I'm just kidding. But
Saying something from the great drinks they had 2 years ago.
yeah, it's going to be if you want something, you basically purchase any alcoholic beverages or anything like that. That's on your own if you want that. Okay. Yes, Russ.
It's 48 and 100.
48 and 100. Thank you for correcting me. Thank you. Anybody have any questions about the Christmas? And it is a good Christmas party, by the way. It's a fantastic one, and it's great to see everyone. And everyone gets out in their Christmas regalia, and you usually QV. Fox Queen Victor usually comes with his light up necklace of lights. You know, his LED.
Mark Studer.
Mark, yeah, and Mark usually comes with that, and then. But it's a great time.
Benny comes with his zoot suit.
Yeah, his zoot suit. Yep. Yeah. So, and then I hear Dave is going to tickle the ivories. He's bringing a piano in the back of his car. That's going to be interesting.
It's got a bar attached.
It's got a bar attached. Yeah. He'll be serving. Anyways, anyone have any questions about the Christmas party? It's going to be great, by the way, in case you didn't know. It is going to be great. All right. Hey, by the way, the treasurer's report, in case you thought we were just reading it up, there it is right there. I'll leave it on the screen for 1 second. And yeah, that $200, like you said, is an annual fee. And what was it cost? What does it cover liability wise? How much?
I don't know Jason knows that.
Oh, Jason knows that. Okay. If I'm going off target, Jason will tell you what that is. If it's the same one we bought as the other AM Radio Club and it was from the same organization, it was like $2 million it covered. But he will let you know just to make sure of that. So anybody have any? We already passed this, but I'll pass on if we don't have anything more to say about this. All right. There's no executive committee meeting or action. So there you have it. Technical committee, and everybody's been waiting for this. I know you got an email the other day. So anybody have it? I'll read this off, but I'm sure you've seen it. Anybody have any other information for the technical committee? So I don't miss. 147.390 controller replacement is ready to go. The install is to be determined. It was going to be taken care of, but then Jason put it off for a little bit. There were some issues that came up. Not with this. He's ready to go. It was something else. So we still have the 147.990 megahertz interference. It's now believed to be coming from the water tower at the corner of Ohio 261 and Summit Street in Wadsworth. Sarah is in communication with the city. And 442.275 decents issue, they're going to be testing during the 39 work when we're doing the 39 work up there. So that'll be handled then. And I don't know if you guys heard it, but we were at Jason's house for a committee meeting, was it 3 weeks ago? No, about a month ago. And he had that new board set up for the repeater, and it sounds, we were keying in on our radios, our HTs, and it sounds beautiful. And it's got, he has it set up so he'll probably go into some detail. He set it up because instead of all the per chunking, you actually have to audibly say something or do something. So you can't just per chunk it and hear the repeater come back to you, so you'll have to say your call sign or something. So. So yeah. So yes, yeah. Which is what we're really supposed to do, anyways. And I'm not a victim. I'm a person that's done that as well. Per chunk to see if I'm on a repeater. FCC's right around the corner. Hey, buddy. Operating committee. Upcoming planned events. I don't know if you know, we're going to be doing the Santa Net on Christmas Eve. That's part of the big Santa Net from the Dewdrop in radio. And that's going to be a good time. That was brought forward by Chris. I didn't see him here tonight. What a bummer. Chris Paulin, N8ACP. And he and someone else. Who else was with him on the Santa Net? Were you part of that?
I had made an announcement on the Facebook news page that I take care of.
Okay, cool. Any other information about the Santa Net you want to share, or anyone want to share? Okay. And what time is it? Do you know what time it starts?
6 to 10, I think.
6 to 10? Okay.
Yeah, I wasn't 100% sure. I didn't actually.
Dustin, can we put a link to that Facebook page on our Sarah?
We'll talk to Jason about that. Yeah, we'll make a note of asking Jason for that.
Thank you.
I don't see why not, but we'll definitely talk to that. The Ohio Simplex Contest after Christmas is over. You want to rest for a little bit, but so the Simplex Contest is January 8th. So get your radios, get your Simplexes all warmed up.
Yeah, keep them.
Yeah, keep your flex your Simplexes and get them ready for the contest on January 8th. And then Winter Field Day is coming up in one of the coldest months, January 29th to 30th. I hear we're actually going to do the whole thing outdoors in tents. So I think that's, so anybody that's willing to come down. What? Come on, this is ham radio. So anyways, but it is January 29th to the 30th. So that's going to be a good event. All right. The Education Committee. The Education Committee is going to be responsible for all aspects of educating and maintaining the skills of club members. The existing functions will be taken over by this committee is the tech presentations at meetings, build projects, and some web content writing. The committee shall be encouraged and funded to explore. Here he is, Jason. You can take over if you want. Explore other means. And we don't have a chair for this committee, but if somebody would like to and raise their hand right now, we'll write you down. Who wants to be the Education Committee? And I don't even think there's a big vetting process. I think it's just that you know when you're how to do stuff. That's pretty much it. So very cool. Well, it's still open. The squirrel is not going to be the permanent chair of that committee. Just wanted you to know that. And social activities. Some of you know Gary's. He's absconded with the Cleveland weather, the good stuff, where he's at, and he left this with us. But the apparel sale is on right now, and it goes until this Sunday, I believe, the 21st, correct? It's this Sunday, the 21st. So please go over there and look. There's some really, really nice stuff that he picked out, and I'm actually going to pick up a couple pieces because I love these, but I wanted to get something with Sarah on it. So he's got that in there, and he's got those puffy jackets, that's in there, and some hats and some other things. So please check it out. Get it ordered by the 21st, and then we're going to get that all wrapped up. And the reason we want to push this forward is because Gary really, really, really wants to try to get this in people's hands before Christmas. So if you order it, we can get it to the manufacturer, to the embroiderers, and get it ordered and brought back by Christmas. So Christmas delivery. So that'll be it. And then, believe it or not, that is probably the shortest meeting that we've had. And Thursday, January 20th at 7 p.m. That's the date right in. Awesome. Fantastic. Special guest is TBD. I've heard him speak a few times. He's really good.
Sure.
I don't remember what his call sign is, but he's really, really good. But anyways, any other questions before we call the meeting? And then we're going to have a round table of questions and answers if people have questions. Anybody have anything? Yes, sir.
I have two announcements.
Go ahead.
Real quick. First announcement is the Aries green repeater is back on the air now. 444.55 PL tone is 225.7. It's a pretty high profile machine. It's always been a good machine for us. You can get into it all the way down into Canton. But that machine is back on the air live now again. So it only took 3 years to get it back, but we're back on the air with that one. So the other announcement is I know that Art Barbetta, NARKA, is also looking for volunteers for the home run for the homeless run, which is coming up on next Thursday, Thanksgiving morning. It starts, I think, at like 8 o'clock. It's usually over by 10 o'clock, so you can get out of there and still have Thanksgiving dinner with the family and whatever in the afternoon. So if you want to go out and stand on a corner someplace in the blowing snow and 20 degree weather, freezing your crystals off, it's actually a fun race to do. People come dressed up in turkey suits and stuff, and it's craziness. But Art is looking for people. So his number, if you need to contact Art, his phone number is 330-696-5196. So that's for Art Barbetta. If anybody is interested in helping out with the run, I know he would be happy to have volunteers. So
What was the repeater? The first time we played on the repeater, what was the number?
I didn't realize.
Frequency?
the frequency on the repeater is the same as all the other Aries machines. It's 444.55.
Where is it?
It's located on a tower in Green. It's on Keys Road or something like that. It's on a Summit County tower on the hill.
This is for Eric's benefit.
No, it's for Eric's benefit. Okay.
He wasn't running fast enough.
And it's right close to Krispy Kreme donuts.
Oh, no, that's the run is close to Krispy Kreme. Is that what
Yeah.
you're talking about? Yeah. Yeah, the run's right by Krispy Kreme. It's downtown Akron. The run just goes around downtown Akron. It weaves around the city, but not very, I think it's like a 10K or something. It's a pretty short race. Is it a 5K? It might be.
And a 1 mile fun run.
Yeah, and a 1 mile fun run, right? So that's all I have.
Cool. And I don't know, Doug, if you remember the information, I sort of remember it, but it's those of you who may or may not have heard the sheriff down in Greene County, was it?
Right.
He died in Sandusky on Tuesday night. He had a medical emergency. He was also a ham. And do you remember what his call sign? Anybody remember his call sign?
Oh,
That's okay.
I want to say W8 GCS.
Okay.
I know the last part was GCS, but it's Greene County Sheriff.
Right. So that I think we're going to actually be doing a silent key for him. It was it's going to be next week, I think, for Amateur Radio Newsline. But a good gentleman. He did a lot of the events when we were doing Hamvention down there. So he was a part of a lot of that stuff, and so our thoughts and prayers out to his family and family members. But anyone else? Otherwise, we'll call the meeting.
What are you gonna call it?
I don't know. All right, a motion to call the meeting to a close. Yes, got the motion back there, Marty. Second, Russ. All those in favor? All those opposed? All right, tough crowd. All right, we're going to take a few minutes, and then we're going to do a quick Q&A, and then Jason could actually. Oh, and we're going to do I want to get that off camera. We'll get that off camera when we do the tickets. Okay. All right. Thank you, everyone. And Russ is going to be giving us the winners in about a second. Oh, we're going to leave that on. That's right. We got to leave it. Go ahead.
Okay, we collected some money. $26 goes to the club. We didn't collect a lot of money. And $27 goes to. Not you.
I didn't buy a ticket.
Let's see, one in the back. 780-4130.
You won again.
I didn't buy any.
Oh, okay.
Bingo. See, this is what happens when you buy 4 straight.
When nobody else bought it, hardly.
So you won your money back? Awesome.
The club thanks you.
Yeah,
Yes, the club thanks me.
he's ahead $7.
Send it to the club for me.
You sure?
Yeah.
Wow.
Eric hates that.
$27.
Okay, I'm done.
All right.
And I gotta go home.
Donated.
All right. Drive safely, Russ.
Yeah.
Thank you. So I guess we're doing a quick Q&A. There was actually 2 questions that were already up. One was for you. Actually, one was for you, Jason.
Okay.
And that was about the website. Who posed the question about the website? Dave? Can you have his link go up on for the Santa thing? We were talking about the Santa thing.
Yeah, the Santa thing, if you just put the link up on the WAWKY website.
The link for the what?
The Santa net?
Well,
It's up there already.
It's up there already.
Is there, okay, cool, perfect.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's easy.
And I think I kind of copied the announcement.
And then the second one was also a Dave
The
question.
second one, I received email within that last 48 hours that we now have liability insurance. Fred, WAAKOC, and I had been talking about a year ago about trying to put together a group of people who could help hams within the club and outside of the club with just general duties that they can't handle at their particular age. At some point, you just can't climb a tower. At some point, you're just not going to be able to replace your feed lines. But you still have the knowledge of telling somebody about which balun to use with their, end fed. So it seems to me to be a good idea to put together a group of what, handy hams has already been used. That's for disabled hams, but maybe helping hams, where the older folks could be part of the group and contribute their knowledge and expertise. And the younger people could contribute their stamina and muscles, help raising towers or replacing feed lines and such. The issue in the past has been that if we sent somebody out as any part of a club authorized group, then the club becomes financially liable. Now with our new liability insurance, this becomes a feasible idea. I would be willing to chair a committee. I think I could get Fred to help co-chair, and we can get a few people interested in creating a group that would be around just to help some of our older members who can't do some of the physical work that needs to be done to maintain their stations to get done. And then some of the older folks, Jim, WBA VMW, was over at my place this summer helping me trim an inverted L. And he built me an Unun for it. So it's not like, it's just a one-way street. This can be a collaboration between our older hams and our younger hams. We've got a lot of new young hams getting licensed these days. I think it would be a really great inspiration for them to help some of the older guys, and a great opportunity for the older guys to become Elmers for some of the younger guys. So if there is, my question is then, are there enough people interested in putting this together? I would be interested in heading up such a thing, and I think Fred, who I was talking about, would be interested in helping me do that. That's my open question.
That's a good question. Do you have an answer, Jason?
Yeah, I mean, so I know that was something that that Chris had talked about recently.
Yeah, that's great. Chris, I didn't realize he was interested. That's terrific.
Yeah, we had helped John Crilly unofficially a month or so ago now. And then they were helping Phil. I think that was yeah. So the club, as of last month-ish, we decided that we're big enough and we're doing enough that we would get a liability policy. So we could do different things like that, among other things. So yeah, and the short answer to that is yes, we would be interested as a club in putting that together. I think the one thing we would want to talk about is who all we're going to offer that service to, because that could quickly get out of control. So I think other than putting some boundaries on exactly who would qualify, club members plus some criteria, right? Then yeah, I think we'd be fine doing that now.
That sounds good.
So the only thing I think that we would need to develop other than that is we probably would want to do some sort of volunteer liability waiver and a waiver from whoever we do the work for. But it's something simple like, we're not going to sue you if this antenna falls down and spears my cat.
That sounds, that seems completely reasonable.
Yeah. So yeah, that's something we can start talking. We need to. We'll probably won't have an executive committee meeting until January at this point, but that will be. We can put that on the agenda for the next executive committee meeting.
Okay.
But yeah.
I'd be interested in being on that committee if we decide to vote.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Are you abandoning this?
No, I'm not abandoning it, but you're doing such a great job. I mean, I'm just like a short thumb standing there, but go for it. But says I want to see if there's any questions online too. You can leave it there, this one.
So I guess, realistically, I'm not going to stand up here the whole time. Tom Sly, WB8 LCD, he's the Ohio section manager. He was supposed to be here tonight. He had a death in the family, actually, and tonight was the visiting hour funeral thing. So he'll be back. Hopefully, we're going to get him in early 2022. He might be the January TBD. So I just haven't had a chance to start working on that. So with very short notice, what we kind of decided to do, and this can go as short or as long as anyone really wants it to, is just to kind of do a general Q&A. I don't know if anybody's listening on YouTube or
Not a whole lot, no.
yeah. So
We'll leave it run. There's 4 people, but
yeah. So it was kind of just we had put something up on the website, asked if people wanted to send in a question, and there was one question that was submitted to the website. Find it here. I'm not finding any. But the basic question was something along the lines of every once in a while I hear DTMF codes on the repeater. Why, and do they have to ID and those sorts of things? So working backwards from that question, do you have to ID if you're transmitting DTMF tones? Yes. That's no different than any other transmission. If that's your last transmission, then you should ID every 10 minutes or at your last transmission. Now, with 3.9 specifically, most likely what whoever was asking that question is hearing is actually not being transmitted into 3.9, but is actually coming over the network link. So in general, repeaters themselves and repeater controllers will suppress the replay of DTMF tones back out to the air. So if you punch in a DTMF command to 3.9, everyone listening, you might hear the very first part of a DTMF chirp, but you won't hear anything else because the controller says, oh, someone's sending me a DTMF code. I'm going to block out the next however long, right? The all-star hotspots are not nearly as good at catching and filtering out some of those DTMF tones. So if you're hearing a bunch of DTMF tones and then nothing, probably it was someone trying to disconnect or didn't realize their node was connecting and they were sending something in coming over the network audio link. So that's sort of the answer to that one.
All right, so basically, to clarify, that's not coming directly RF into our repeater. It's just linked into our repeater. Somebody else's
Most likely.
Well, somebody else's system is either disconnecting or doing something, and it's just we're hearing the DTMF code, and then after that, even if they disconnect and identify, we wouldn't hear them anyway.
Right, and to be clear, right, your responsibility, the ID is for your transmission. So the person who's IDing, if you think about it in the standard repeater context, if I'm transmitting to the repeater, that transmission is where I have the obligation to ID. The repeater transmitting its audio back out, legally, the responsibility of the ID is actually on the repeater. So my transmission into the repeater is NADI for the call sign. Technically, from a legal perspective, the repeater repeating audio, when it IDs as W8WKY, that's the fulfillment of that requirement. So,
but in the event where somebody may be disconnecting and then identifying afterwards, well, it's already disconnected, we're never going to hear that.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So that's not a violation of the FCC
well,
rules.
I'm saying that may explain.
Right. That's probably exactly what that situation is.
So some people seem to be getting a little bit up in their under their skin about that. So yeah, nice for clarifying.
Yeah, the ID is on the transmission regardless of the origination of the transmission. So a disconnect, as long as they ID from their radio to whatever they were doing, they have followed the procedure. Whether we hear it or not, that's not our problem.
Yeah, because that seems to be where some people get their heckles up a little bit or something. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah,
I've heard people talk about it on the repeater. It's like,
yeah. If the ID is on the originator of the transmission, so our outbound traffic, the responsibility is on the repeater to do the IDing, and that's why it will graciously interrupt you every 10 minutes and tell you that it's W8WKY.
Any other questions? Anyone have any questions? Anything?
Not anything.
Well, just Nick. He immediately is like, ah.
what is the origin of the universe?
42.
It's 42. Who was your driver for the Ohio Simplex thing?
It was John Wagner and I. Well, he wasn't a driver. We both operated in tandem.
In the video, it seemed like
Yeah, it was his truck.
Yeah.
He was his truck. Yeah. That was John NHCD and I. Why?
That was just my big question. I couldn't figure out from the video. He was always hiding.
He took the videos, that's why.
Yeah.
He does that for a reason.
Uh-huh.
No, that was John.
Always behind the camera.
Yeah, John and I have we did 3 rows, 17, 18, 19. 18, 19, 20. 17, 18, 19. Wait, when did COVID start? 18, 19. It was 18,
20.
19, 20. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we didn't do it last year. Yeah.
I just got a weird question that just flashed across my mind from our last meeting, and you were talking about the reporting to the ARRL of our transmission power and the calculations for that kind of stuff. And we have to take into account our feed line and couplers and everything in line and the antenna gain. There's all kinds of stuff to take into account there. And just flash across my mind not 15 seconds ago. What if your SWR is like 3-to-1 or 4-to-1 and you're like really not putting out any power? What does that do to your calculations? I'm just curious, just for an off-the-cuff answer. You don't have to give me anything like.
Well, other than that, you would probably blow up your radio, and then your effective radiated power would be nothing. You know,
Problem solved.
yeah, problem
Okay,
solved.
that's all I need.
Yeah, if your SWR is high, but you're not causing your radio to shut off, right, from too high of an SWR,
You're not really putting out anything.
right? It would be the loss of whatever But again,
So that doesn't go into our calculation.
right? So
We're calculating for a 1-to-1 SWR.
right. You in general you calculate for what your theoretical output is.
That was the point of my question.
I mean, so again, it's perfectly within reason, right? If you want to go stick a watt meter and a dummy load at the far end of your thing, and if you're getting losses from the cable, you could do that. If you put the watt meter before the antenna, I don't know if that would work out too well. I don't know how accurate of a signal you
That's
get.
a great question, because I've got meters on all of my lines, but they're like right after my amplifier or right after my tuner. They're depending on how it's all set up. So what's coming out the antenna, I don't necessarily think that the watt meter is telling me that because of the losses in the line beyond the watt meter.
I think if you measured the reflected power back, then if you took your output power in dBm and subtracted your reflected power and converted it back to watts, then you'd know what it is.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
That's okay. Thanks.
But again, in general, you calculate for the theoretical.
Right.
Theoretical
1-to-1.
operating
This is
state.
what,
Yeah.
if everything's working right, this is what I'm putting out.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. That was fun. Thanks.
Is that it? Any other questions? I guess that's it. No questions online, I asked them, so. Next meeting is January 20th.
Meeting adjourned then.
Meeting adjourned.
See you at the Christmas party.
Yeah. Did you mention
I did.
the Christmas party?
You can go back on the slide
gotta
if you
eat
want.
out easy
Okay,
on this
I did, yeah.
You don't have, we don't have
Yeah.
we don't have to go back.
Yeah, I told them about everything that we talked about. Russ cleared up the fact that it's a 48-person room or 100, depending on where we sign up at.
We are not going to be crushed in like sardines.
No, I know, yeah. And then I explained to everyone the drinks are on their own.
So is a meal.
Yeah, so's a meal.
Yeah.
Yeah, meals too. Yeah, but yeah. Well, it
Just
was.
to be clear, as fun as it would be for Sarah to throw a big Christmas
I know.
party, we don't have the budget for that.
I know that.
But the wine is better in the bigger room.
Yeah, it's a wine
Yes,
is better in the
exactly.
bigger room.
Is that what it is?
That's what I said. I told
Breathing
him.
room.
That's what he's claiming anyway.
Yeah.
Less oxygenatable.
That's the room they aerate the wine.
One thing I will mention is if you've not checked it out, try out the new Worcester machine 147.21. That if you don't follow the happenings of the Wayne Amateur Radio Club, the repeater moved from downtown Worcester at the comm center out to a taller tower that's just outside to the southeast of Worcester, and it's up quite a bit higher and quite a bit more power now. So its coverage is greatly enhanced.
I can tell it's a lot more because it pegs my radio now.
Yeah, I hear.
It never used to.
Yeah, I used to get it at like S2. Now I get it full scale.
What 491?
147.21.
Huh? There are a few bugs in the room.
Yeah, I was gonna say, there's more than a few dead bugs in that room. We're sitting in there and Doug's like sweeping out just mounds of wasps. And I'm like, I'm never coming in this room in the summer.
I used to work at a racetrack down in Kentucky. And I had the camera shot that's got the race, the horses coming down the finish line from straight ahead up in a tower. And I had to get there an hour and a half early every day to like spray all the wasps out of the tower before I could get up there and man the camera, because it took an hour for them to all like die and get out of the tower.
Now we're just irradiating them out with RF.
That's pretty much it. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
I wish I knew what it was with bugs and loving RF.
Yeah,
Even out at some of the commercial towers, we have to go out.
they're called to
They're
it.
just, they pile on.
Yeah, they're called to it.
Yeah, but the new 2-1 system works pretty well. So
Check that out.
And you had to,
Thanks to Jason.
yeah,
Jason did all the work on the repeater, and you think a lot of times about radio clubs sometimes being adversarial. Well, Jason and John and others have done quite a bit over the past several years to bring the Worcester Club and the Sarah Club together. And when you hear that repeater, the 2-1 repeater of Worcester come through so strong, it's a direct result of Jason's efforts there. Yeah, the tower is part of it, of course, but he did quite a bit of work with that repeater.
I got to fiddle with a bunch of random equipment. No, it was actually kind of fun. I actually enjoyed it. So Wayne County donated a out of service Motorola MTR 2000 to the club, and it was in the Motorola lingo. It was the high split one, so it only would do 150 megahertz and up. But you could pull out 2 resistors off of the PA board, and then it was basically the voltage signaled which PA it had, and you could then tune it down, and it had enough play in it that you could set it to the full span, and then tune adjust it and the deviation down so you could get it to transmit like right at 147. And I said, yeah, we can do that. That's no problem. And then I ordered the parts. And the picture online did not do it justice that the resistors are they're not the literal smallest SMDs, but it's like the next size up for the smallest SMDs. So
I dealt with that on my first iPhone.
So yeah, so I had like the big glasses on with like the 2.5 kind. My wife came down at one point. She's like, "What are you wearing?" I'm like, "Just go back upstairs.
Don't breathe. Be gone."
So
Don't lose the part.
So that was kind of an interesting experience. But it worked out pretty well. I mean, it's a full 100-watt, full duty repeater, and good audio quality. Very nice squelch. So 2-1 doesn't have that big long crash now when the squelch closes. So
Cool.
Fun project.
And the Heil event went well the other day, watching for the Worcester.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to watch.
Yeah, I
it.
did. Yeah,
Yeah,
it was a good event.
It's available online now.
Yeah.
Bob Heil presentation.
Yeah, it was really good. One of these days, I'd like to get him to do one of his events for us, if he would. He said he's willing to do them for anybody. So
No.
maybe we could do that fill-in one with the microphones and stuff.
As soon as we get an educational committee chair that wants to plan the presentation,
Okay.
we can set that up.
Okay.
So I will share another interesting story just to fill in some time, since we have nothing else to talk about. We had also gotten a donated 6-canister duplexer, and it was an interesting one. I'd not seen this kind before. Instead of an inline and an outline and the canister acting as basically a deep skirt passband filter, it's actually a notch and pass, and there's just a T connector on the top, and they're all chained together.
I have one just like
Yeah, I understand how it works now, but I got it and I'm like, this is the weirdest looking duplexer I've ever seen. But it was interesting because you actually have to adjust the pass and the notch together. And I had it all tuned up, and it was all set. And then I put the Motorola on it and I transmitted, and the Motorola immediately cut out and said that it had high voltage because of SWR. And the nice thing about the Motorola is it has a self-test, and you can, it runs through the self-test, and every time high SWR. So I got angry. I'm like, oh, I'm done. Because we were deploying it the next day. I'm like, well, we'll just go grab the cans from the old machine and put those in. And then I got it like, this is not going to defeat me. I'm going to figure out why it's doing this. So I actually put my nano VNA on it and sent a 10 megahertz wide symbol. And it was interesting. You could see the SWR came down, and then right before 147.21, it jumped up to 2.5 to 1, and then went all the way back down to 1. And at the end, so there's just this little tiny spur right in the wrong spot that cut it off. So little twist of the knob, and the spur moved aside, and
Don't you love physics?
it was all good. Yeah,
Fixed it nice.
So
Very nice.
It wasn't a rolling spur though.
it was not roaming; it was a fixed spur in the wrong place. So I thought that was kind of that was an interesting one.
Yeah.
I've not run into that before.
I think that was probably the first time I ever tried tuning a duplexer was one like that. And so being my first time, I go to YouTube. Well, they're not teaching you how to do one of those.
Right.
So it took a little longer.
So, but now we're ready. Whenever we have to put APRS and the repeater on the same antenna down there, we'll be ready to go this time. So.
Cool.
Any other questions? If not, just we're done.
Cool.
Thanks, everybody.
Good night, everyone. And Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Actually, that same night we were working on that, Eric came over to my house. He was borrowing a antenna launcher.